Hi, everyone, and welcome to Unsupervised Consequences. I am your host, Dean the Genetic Marvel, and this is day number 42, and we are talking about asking questions. So, this is a chronicle of how I went from over 450 pounds and now to 275. I'm probably going to have a weigh in tomorrow or the next day, so that may be changing. But kind of explaining what the things I'm going through and how I'm trying to become better and obstacles and how I've overcome them and all that kind of fun and exciting stuff. So today we are talking about asking questions, and I started off with a quote from that is attributed to Luc Jorgart, and it says, "Only a wise man is capable of asking stupid questions." I love this quote. I'll tell you that right now. And the reason is because there's been such a huge amount of time where I was afraid to ask questions. And then I just started asking whatever I wanted. And you know what? I had um, no shame in asking a dumb question, and I would preface all my questions, be like, "Hey, I have no idea what you're talking about, but can you explain to me? Give me some information." And I would try and get a little bit more. Hey, Serge, how you doing? Welcome, buddy. But that was the thing, is that if you never asked, you had no chance at gaining any knowledge. And I think that that has been one of the most enjoyable parts about just the entire journey, because like I said, is that I was a big guy forever. um, I lost a bit of weight when I was 19, gained it all back and then some, and then have progressively just gotten larger and larger and larger and larger and larger. And even most recently I was up over 450 pounds, at my largest, possibly up as high as 500 pounds. And I got down to 360 on my own. I started seeing a doctor, went back up to 400. I was 400 pounds just last August. And now I'm sitting at 275, possibly a little bit less. And I'll tell you, it has been one of the weirdest things where I've asked so many professionals just random questions where I'm like, I just need to understand, because I don't. This isn't. I don't understand what's going on. So please explain it. And they would try, and I'd be like, nope, I still don't get it. Still don't get it. Still don't get it. And then they would break it down to its components, and I would always tell them, they're like, you're a smart, like they would tell me, like, you're a smart guy. Why don't you get this stuff? And I'm like, I just need more information, right? Because a lot of the times I know for myself, I find that um, you have to find something to connect your knowledge, right? I remember, oh, what movie was it? There was a movie, had, hmm, had Tom Green in it, I think, and it was about where the one guy had to learn history, and instead, what the really genius guy did was he compared it to hey, what's happening, John? But he compared it to uh, the history of the World Wrestling Federation, or World Wrestling Entertainment, as it's called now. But because he was able to connect with a history that he knew, he was able to just fill in all the blanks as to who the characters were. And that's why it's like, when we have a set of knowledge or understanding, we're able to pair it up with new information, and that way we can keep track that way. Um, and that's the thing, is once you find how you can connect those things, you can become very knowledgeable, but also you can connect different types of knowledge. One of the biggest things, and I think this is a great understanding, is that people who are afraid to ask questions will never grow. And one of the bad parts about university, to my understanding, I've never been to university, but everyone I've talked to has been that as they get higher in education, things get more and more and more and more and more specific. And when things get more and more and more specific, you lose the ability to understand other fields of expertise. So, an example of this was that there's a dodecahedron that was found in ancient Rome, and it's a 12-sided thingy, and it's got these knobs on it, and it looks very, ooh, what could it be? Maybe it was a star chart or something. And I think it was a couple years ago, a woman used it to hold yarn for when she was knitting, and it worked perfectly. And you're going, because the fact was that the experts were like, oh, what could it be? And they were like, oh, maybe it was something to do this, or maybe it was a kid's toy, or oh, who knows? And they're like, it could have been just for yarn. Why? And that's where it comes to asking questions, because you can have your field of expertise, but there are other fields of expertise. So in this scenario, I'll explain, was that yesterday a friend who I know through comedy in Toronto. Um, we've met a few times. Never really, we chatted here and there, but nothing big. But we have stayed in contact, and he noticed some of the exercises. He's like, "Hey, I think I could help you do a little bit more." And I was like, "Sure, great. I will open the help." So we've just been talking back and forth online. It's been very enjoyable. And yesterday he was able to come over and he showed me a few exercises and said, "Hey, you can do this stuff." And I'll tell you, I did a bunch of those exercises today, but it's also in a matter of a day improved my workout, improved how I'm feeling, and also improved um, how closer I am in certain goals. Why? He used to be a personal trainer. He professionally fought for quite some time, and like he's a very, very knowledgeable when it comes to that stuff. If the fact that he offered was huge, but also too that I was able to mine him, and then I was asking him questions like, "Oh, how does this work?" And I was always under the impression like, so one of them was for squatting, and he goes, "No, you can open your legs." And I go, "I was always under the impression that you should keep your legs straight." He's like, "Oh, why?" Because you have tendons and stuff that have to be secured, right? They have to help keep everything in place. So when you open your legs, it's gonna make everything else grow properly, and that way you have supporting muscles and tendons and stuff. How the hell should I know that? But he knows that because he is more knowledgeable about it. But if I didn't ask the questions, who would know? And it gets down to that little thing where even a better story was I remember we were, my dad's machine shop, we were trying to bore a hole that was extremely deep. And the problem was we couldn't get access. We had to thread the hole as well. So a thread would be where you would put a bolt, you could screw things into it. Okay. And the problem was it was so deep that you couldn't get uh, a tap into it to thread it. And the salesman who knows all the stuff that they're selling goes, you couldn't go from the other side though. That wouldn't work. I mean, I was like, no, of course not. And he goes, right, 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 right. Of course not. Now, that guy didn't know that you couldn't go from the other side. But because he asked the question he more made a statement, but it was like a question, he was able to gain a little bit of knowledge, knowing that was because he's not a machinist. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's not a manufacturer of anything. He's a salesperson. So he has to be knowledgeable about his product. But even still, there's a distinct separation in selling a product and using a product. And that's why is asking those questions always helps lead to a little more information, a little more of a connection, a little better know-how. And that's why is that I like that quote so much because being viewed as dumb is only from people who are unaware of how lacking in knowledge they are. If you ask a question because you want to become knowledgeable, anyone who shames you is significantly more dumb than you are. Just immediately. Just as a knowledge for free is that people who mock people asking questions are useless in life. And that's one of the key components. I know one of the ways that I was raised was that if someone doesn't know something because they're uneducated or have unexposed certain information, it is others' responsibility to guide them through that knowledge, to help them gain that knowledge. Because the fact is, people have other responsibilities. Someone who has to earn a living at a young age, or doesn't have the proper family arrangement or situation, or suffers some sort of trauma early in life, may not be able to focus on other things. So, guiding them through that knowledge to know how to interact with things is a benefit to them. But someone who willfully does not want to know, the hell with them. Why? If they don't want to know, they just want to be dumb. And that's a horrible situation to be in because if you are willfully stupid, then what's really the point? So I think we'll cut it short there and just say that for the evening is that the real message for today is definitely ask as many questions as possible and make sure they are as thorough as you need them to be for you to gain the knowledge that people are presenting. Otherwise, there's no point in starting at all. I have been Dino the Genetic Marvel. This has been Unsupervised Consequences, day number 42. Please feel free to like, subscribe to the channel, share this if you think anybody may benefit from it. But I will be back tomorrow with more information. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you then.